Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Nitrostorm here, welcome back to Revived Witch. Before we start, make sure that your auto settings are on free mode auto. I will let you guys know if you have to change it later on, but for the meantime we'll keep it at free mode. So welcome back to Broken Lands. This is week 10, which is also week 2 of the bi-weekly rotation. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So area 1. First things first, enemy info. As you can see, we are fighting these fireball things called unstable rock cores. There will be 4 of them and they use magic damage. So as long as you know all of that, they will attack the front enemy first. So in our case, the front liner for our team. So make sure you build your characters in magic defense. So our team comp will be using Yurugu up front, so she'll tank a little bit, and then we'll have Avil in the middle and then Cezerni at the rear. So these are Avil stats. Make sure you have the second skill, the Chaos skill, unlocked. These are Cezerni stats. Just give her a bit of attack and you'll be fine. You can build her much better than this if you want to. And last but not least, we have Yurugu. So she's our frontliner. You don't need to raise her, but you can if you want to. Her main role is to just stall the enemy a little bit so that Avil and Cezerni can get started on their perma CC. Alright, so again, the formation, we have Yurugu up front, Avil in the middle, and then Cezerni at the rear. So once the battle starts, ensure that you have S1 set on Cezerni and second skill set on Avil. And then once the burst starts, ensure you have second skill on Avil right away so that you're able to keep the enemy CC'd. So as you can see, this time the enemy were able to get hits on us, so to make this more reliable and consistent, you can just level up your Yurugu a little bit to Ascend 1, and then it should be all good. Alright, moving on to area 2. So for this area, we're going to be fighting the Gigas Magman. There's going to be 2 of these guys, and as you can see from their attacks, they deal both physical and magical damage, so preferably you'd want to build your characters fairly in terms of physical and magic defense. And one more thing to know about these guys is that when they attack, they mainly attack the frontline character only, and then if the frontline falls in battle, then they'll move on to the next most front character. So to be able to win this one, you simply just want to have a very tanky frontliner. So for this area, the team comp that we're going to be going for is Witch. This will be our tanky frontliner, and then Arcana and Pakane at the rear. So these are the stats of my main character Witch. As you can see, I've tried to build her fairly in terms of physical and magical defense. For our next character, Arcana, just make sure that her first skill is at least level 2, just to have a little bit more consistency with her percentage chance. And then last but not least, this is the stats of my Pakane. Make sure you have her second skill unlocked. Alright, so for the team formation, Witch up front, and then Arcana, and then Pakane. So make sure when you start the fight, S1 Arcana, S2 on Pakane. And then after that, make sure during Arcana burst that you have S2 set on Pakane. And then watch the rest of the fight unfold. So as you can tell there's going to be a bit of RNG involved perhaps when it comes to this fight. So in order to alleviate that, you can upgrade your Arcana further, or perhaps give legendary gear to your frontliner, and then it should be more reliable. Alright, moving on to area 3. First things first, the enemy info. So this time we're going to be fighting the enemy called Wildfire Magman, and just like area 2, there's going to be 2 of these guys. And again, just like area 2, these guys will deal both physical and magical damage, focusing on the frontline character. And so again, in this case, I'll be leaning a bit more towards physical defense, but still having some magical defense upgraded. So for our team comp, it's going to be a bit different to what you're normally used to, but in any case, we have Setes up front, Sinesha in the middle, and then Mikoto at the rear. Now I know you might be wondering that this might take a while to finish, but actually it's pretty decent in terms of speed. So in any case, let's take a look at their stats. These are Sinesha's stats. I would suggest having her charge skill at level 2. It might work at level 1. These are the stats of my Setes. Make sure you have her second skill unlocked at the minimum. As you can see, you know, magical defense here and then physical defense there. So she has a semi-balanced build in terms of defensive stats, leaning a bit more towards physical defense. And then last but not least, these are the stats of my Mikoto. You know, just give her as much attack as possible and you don't really need to unlock any of her skills. Alright, for the team formation, Setes up front, Sinesha in the middle, and then Mikoto at the rear. Now, once this starts, ensure you have S1 on Mikoto, S2 on Setes, and then you pretty much watch the fight unfold. And then during Arcana Burst, make sure you set Chaos skill on Setes so that you'll do some damage against the Wildfire Magnets. And then pretty much after that, you pretty much just watch the rest of the fight unfold. So it's going to take a little bit of time. In order to fix this, I guess you can give Setes more attack. But in any case, I'll see you in a bit. And there you have it. So I know it might have been a little bit long, but it's actually not that long, guys. So in my opinion, I think this is still a pretty effective comp, especially considering it's a free-to-play comp. And that's it for Area 3. Alright, so if you've been following my video up until this point, then you should have been able to finish all these areas, especially since I don't even use any of the event SSRs. And so Area 4 should be, again, the easiest stage for you to complete, as you have, you know, free reign on who you want to use, and then you can pretty much just use your best team, and that's about that. In any case, let's move on. So for Area 4, if you take a look at the enemy info, we're going to be fighting something called the Wildfire Monster. Now this guy is there's only one of him, but he does hit pretty hard. He does AoE, which is, you know, pretty scary, which is called Trample. This one might be the most devastating one for your whole team. So ensure that you build your team in physical defense. And as you can see here, there's something called God Summon. They'll summon a little Magman, you know, a mini version of this guy, which will also attack you. So it might be good to have some crowd control if you can afford to do that, but I don't think it's that much of a big deal. So in this case, our team comp, we're going to be using our classic free-to-play Saltstone team, Yui up front, Flora in the middle, and then our event SSR Dorin at the rear. So if you don't have Dorin, I think you could use an SSR Compeller, Tama. It might work out as well. You'll just have a little bit less DPS, but Tama does provide some defensive buffs, so it might work out still. So here are the stats of my Flora. So again, just to be safe, to be more consistent, I'll be using legendary gear. You don't need to use ones with passive. You can just use one that gives stats, as you can see, for example, this one. I would suggest making them at least level 1 passive. Here are the stats of my Yui. So Yui is a special case. I would actually recommend making her passive level 2. But for this example, we're just going to keep her at level 1 passive. Try and make her as tanky as possible without losing too much attack. And then last but not least, we have Dorin. Again, make sure you have her at passive level 1. So if you take a look at our formation, Yui up front, Flora in the middle, and then Dorin at the rear. So in order to do this properly, make sure you start with S1 on Flora and then S2 on Yui so she can transform. And then once she transforms, make sure you set S1 on Yui and then S2 on Dorin, and then hope for the best. And then during Arcana Burst, set S2 onto Dorin, and then for the rest of the fight, you just keep watch. Alright, and there you have it, guys. That is Area 4. So from the speed at which my team has cleared it, perhaps you may not need legendary gear. However, it is the 4th area, so, you know, I think it's expected to go all out, you know, just to ensure the victory. And that's about it for Area 4. Alright guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Yet again, I've made it so that it's even more free to play than last time. I didn't use any Gacha SSRs or Gacha URs. We've improved on it this time. And hopefully this will help you guys out there who, you know, just started playing the game and needed some sort of reference in terms of beating Broken Lands when you don't really have all the URs in the game right now. In any case, if you guys got any more questions regarding Broken Lands and stuff like that, or if you want me to make any kinds of new videos, do let me know in the comments down below. I'll be sure to respond. It's been your boy Nitrostorm. I'll see you guys in the next stream or video. Peace.